con my way into a guest spot. Because I'm already going to be out there. I just realized there's another show like 10 minutes up the road from where I'll be. Oh. So I was like, oh, maybe I can get on 2 shows. Because I con my way onto this one, so maybe I can con my way onto 2. Sneaky.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. There's... I don't know what we're going to do first, but this is Praise the Run, episode 30.
30! Yay! I got these things on my jacket, and they make this noise.
That's the worst.
They're like little hands that are made of metal. Yay!
That probably sounds horrible. Maybe not.
No, it's
sounds
quiet
are pretty bad.
It probably sounds delicious.
Yeah.
It's that much needed. What's the word called? People like listening to sounds. ASMR. It's the much needed ASMR people have been requesting for our podcast.
That doesn't work on me. Like, I don't have that tingly feeling.
Me neither. I hate it, actually. It like
bothers you.
Yeah, like it has to be like a natural sound,
right.
like wood, like the sound of like nature or waves or something. That's okay. But like when it's someone like really close up to the mic whispering and stuff, I'm just like. Get out of here. Get out of my ear. My ears feel wet all of a sudden. It's
right.
Gross.
There's, like, different levels of ASMR, because there's, like, the shit you fall asleep to, right?
Uh-huh.
But then there's, like, the shit that ASMR people are really into, which is, like, the tinglies and stuff you get from soft-spoken.
Slowly cutting bread.
Yeah, stuff like that. All these satisfying things.
I like visual ASMR. Is that a thing? Like, satisfying visual things.
Yeah.
Like the cutting, like the soap cutting and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that'd be like VSMR.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, something like that. I prefer that.
Because ASMR is audio.
Yeah, so VSMR. I like some VSMR.
Audio sensory something. Memory something. I don't know what it stands for. I'm sure it stands for something.
Something. But this is Praise the Run episode 30. We did it.
Yeah.
All right, we already said that. But...
Yeah. We didn't say her name.
So... I know, I was trying to bring it back.
Yeah. I'm Ben. This is Patrick. I'm MrBenShow. This is my channel. Shit, dude. There hasn't been a lot of news this week. I guess there's a couple of bad news stuff that we'll bring up before we get into the news that's not really news, but it will be news once it finally kicks off. But we'll just go straight in the news. I didn't play much this week other than Godfather. I assume you didn't beat Kingdom Hearts yet.
No, I didn't even get back to Kingdom Hearts.
No.
I just played a little bit more of Liza P. And
hell yeah.
That's about it.
Word.
That's about it. I'll probably play a bunch in the next couple days, but...
Well, if you have stuff to say about that after, we'll try to get through all this new stuff beforehand. Right after we got off the podcast last week, there was like 2 bombs that happened. So I just want to get these out of the way because then we can get on to the happy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ubisoft lays off dozens of workers as the gaming industry struggles to drag on. Gaming industry struggles drag on. This is from The Verge. Ubisoft, the game publisher behind franchises like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, is laying off 124 employees as its visual effects studio on its global IT team. And on its global IT team. A lot of these are coming from Canada. 98 people are coming from Canada, making up less than 2% of the company's workforce in the country. Yeah, it's another round of layoffs, and then we got another one right after that, which is just continuing the trend of sad things, which is why I wanted to bring it up at the top, because we can get on with the happy things, but it's such a bummer.
Yeah, everyone's getting laid off.
Yeah. The next one's from Digital Bros Entertainment, which is the head of 505 Games, which is what most people would know. Digital Bros Group, video games company listed on Euronext Star Milan. This is like straight up just their thing. This is a press release letter from them, saying that the video game market has evolved since the pandemic to be more selective in terms of new games, with consumers increasingly reverting to well-established intellectual properties, playing these same games for longer periods. Digital Bros strategy has had to adapt to these new and evolving competitive scenarios, and will focus its efforts moving forward on the release of sequels and new versions of previously successful and established games, with a limited number of newer, larger budgets productions. In order to prioritize high quality and long-standing successful titles, Digital Bros has reconsidered the number of projects under development, and as such will review the organizational structure to align with the evolving competitive environment and the medium to long term ensure maximum operational efficiency. This is the bomb right here. The reconstruction program is expected to represent a reduction of approximately 30% of the global workforce.
Wow.
With a predominant portion concentrated within the studios. Digital Bros management feels that this program will not impact the expected profit and loss statement for fiscal year 2023 to 2024. Yeah, that was this week. Behind all of the other delays, because Sony delayed a bunch of stuff that we'll get into. But there was a lot of fervor about the games that were coming out and stuff like that, and I felt like the Ubisoft one specifically, no one talked about.
Yeah.
It was very brief. Maybe because it happened, I don't remember. We recorded on Friday, so it was like, it might have happened like everybody already went home for the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's that's the worst,
Yeah.
You're home for the weekend.
You're already off. Yeah.
Yeah, and you find out from like a tweet and stuff like that, which happens so often in the video games industry.
You're never safe.
Never safe. It sucks. It really does. The Sony, on the other hand, these aren't layoffs, but like I said, they're delaying a bunch of things. That's from Game Informer. Wesley LeBlanc wrote this up for us. Sony announced it is acquiring Destiny 2 maker Bungie for $3.6 million in January of 2022. A week later, in quarterly financial results briefing, Sony CFO revealed that the PlayStation planned to launch 10 live service games by March 2026, with Bungie helping the company in the space. In an earnings call held today, Totoki stated that its 12 live service games, it will only release 6 by fiscal year 2025, which ends March 2026. Earlier this year, Bloomberg reported that Bungie was evaluating some PlayStation's in-development offerings, including Naughty Dog's Last of Us multiplayer project, which we knew about, which is reportedly on ice. It seems that the evaluation has led to Sony retooling its approach, as the company has delayed at least 6 of its live service games.
Wow.
It doesn't go into what these live service games are, but we already know that Last of Us Factions got delayed.
Mm-hmm.
That Last of Us game with Naughty Dog indefinitely internally. And then most recently, with the Bungie layoffs and stuff, Marathon got delayed.
Yeah.
But Marathon, it sounded like Marathon got delayed into 2025. So it's still within that window that they're talking about.
Right.
But they announced a lot of live service stuff, and we didn't see all 12 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what games would have gotten delayed. Was it, one of the bank heist games that we saw. I don't
Right.
remember which one it was theirs. It was like, yeah, I don't remember.
There's a couple.
I don't remember. They all blend in together. Concord was the one that was like a CG space trailer that we didn't see any gameplay of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the Twisted Metal game that we heard so much about that was supposed to be coming from the Destruction All-Stars team, and then I believe got moved to a different studio from that.
Could
yeah.
be, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's a bummer kind of. I mean, not really. I mean, if it's games that we've never even heard about, it's like we don't know what we're missing. But
That's true, yeah.
It's always like weird when a company is putting, billions of dollars into some weird initiative that's not, in their wheelhouse, and then immediately rips the plug.
Yeah, just be like, oops, didn't mean to do that.
Because I feel like we talked about that was like less than 6 months ago. We talked about the. I feel like I took off the article already, but I feel like that was less than 6 months ago with the fucking initiative launch plan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was definitely within this year.
So strange. It's so strange, but I don't know. A lot of companies are reeling back from that live service thing, and I feel like PlayStation's initiative was like,
right.
I don't think it was half baked, because that's usually not what PlayStation likes to do, is half baked things. But what they do is they test out something.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work, they kind of just leave it die.
Let an Irish goodbye out of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like PSVR2, that PlayStation Portal thing, that just came out this week.
Yep.
I guess that's some of the news. I didn't bring up any reviews, but people who like remote plays or whatever, it seems like, it's a great device for one of those. On the other hand, though, I can bring this up. Somebody else did announce hardware. There's a new Steam Deck around. It's coming out soon. I think pre-orders are up now. We got a Steam Deck OLED coming, and it's real pretty. This will be, I believe, I didn't bring up price points. I should bring up prices. But it will be replacing the current models of the higher end Steam Decks. I think one's like a 600 gigabyte and the other one's like 800 or whatever. It will be replacing those. The 200 gig model and the Steam Deck E model, I believe it's called, will be staying as LCD screens or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's while supplies last for the non-OLED versions.
That's cool.
And then that'll be the new thing.
Yeah.
I don't have the prices here, so let me bring those up. But I don't know if there's a difference in pricing. They are doing a limited edition one that will be more expensive. But I think that's sold out like almost immediately.
Yeah.
I don't think it's much more expensive, because I believe it's $549 for the new one, for that 600 gigabyte one, which I believe that was the cost of the old one. $549 for the 512, $649 for the other one.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, people were really happy with the Steam Decks and stuff, and like, I really want one, because if you just want a Switch that runs PC games, basically.
Right. Yeah, so you can have
that.
like infinite games.
That's gone forever. It's underneath the couch. And all the emulation stuff is great. The big thing this week is a thing that we'll be talking about in a couple of weeks. We'll have to see if you're free the day of, but the Game Awards are in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna get a bunch of reveals and all of that stuff, but it is an awards show, so with that come the nominees. We have all of the nominees here. We'll go down the list for the majority of it, but we'll skip the esports stuff. Most anticipated game, which I think is dumb, is...
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, games that are gonna be coming out later. I mean, it's a fan-voted one.
Yeah, okay.
Some of these are fan-voted. The majority of these are voted by, IGN and Giant Bomb and all of the judges. But they have the esports ones and stuff like that are all fan-voted. Most anticipated game is up for nomination is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8.
Nice. I wish that there was one on the list that wasn't even announced. People are just
right.
really looking forward to it anyways.
If it was
maybe if we just put it on the list, they'll make it.
Right. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 4 was like that for a while or something.
Yeah.
Best multiplayer presented by Discord. Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And then we got Best Sports and Racing. We got EA Sports FC, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest. For Best Sim and Strategy Game, we're going to start getting into some weird stuff with all of these games, and you might have some complaints later up the list, I feel like, because I feel like I do. I haven't really dived super deep into these, but Best Sim and Strategy Game, we got Advance Wars 1+2 Boot Camp, or Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4.
What a variety.
Yeah, right? Yeah, when you get into the best sim or strategy,
right.
It starts being...
I feel like those are two different things.
Yeah.
Like a sim game and a strategy game aren't.
Right,
it's one or the other, really.
Also, that's the same... The same category we would have gotten, farming simulator, or
right.
Whatever,
Yeah, they could have made a whole... There's so many just sim games.
Yeah.
That they could have picked.
Right.
And then there's all these war games that are technically strategy games, but they're really RPG fighting games.
Well, that's not in here. I mean, Fire Emblem Engage is an RPG as well, but it is a tactics-based
that one makes the most sense, I think, out of the war ones.
But Company Heroes 3
I don't think
is
I played that one.
RTS.
Oh, really?
And then Advance Wars is a strategy game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's tactics. Advance Wars, I think, will take this. But Pikmin 4 will probably... Actually, Pikmin 4 will probably win. Advance Wars was really good, but it's a remake, so I don't know how much love it will get. But that's also another thing. A lot of people are against putting remakes and remasters in these lists because they're not technically new games.
Yeah.
But then you start getting in a weird territory where it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Well, that's a totally different game.
Right.
It's not.
That's true. Yeah, I guess there is
But Advance Wars is just Advance Wars with new paint.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still a great game. Advance Wars is great. I love those games. I think this is where we start getting really weird. You got Best Fighting Game. Or no, I'm skipping one. Best Family Game. Disney Illusion Island. Party Animals. Pikmin 4. Sonic Superstars. And Super Mario Bros. Wonder. All those make sense. Mario's probably gonna take that, like without a doubt.
Or the party animals.
For best family game?
Yeah, because the whole family can play at once.
Yeah. I doubt it.
That's
man.
how I see it. I mean, I don't understand the
You're going up between
the title.
You're going up between Mario, Sonic, and Disney.
Well, Disney probably has a better chance than Mario, just because that's like when I don't think of family, or I don't know, maybe
Right.
Or when I think of like Mario or Sonic, I don't really think of like a family game. That's like a give it to a teenager to put into his room type game.
Right.
Like, shut up, play this game.
I don't know if Mario will make it for family game, but it is Mario.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past it. Sonic Superstars is the first Sonic game with 4-player multiplayer.
I've never played that one. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't know that.
I
didn't know that either. I thought that was the other game.
That was the one with. It's the one with the Chaos Emeralds do all of the weird stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like it's the 2D one where.
Oh, so that one might actually.
I don't know.
Be better than. I just think that any game that includes like the entire family has a better shot. At least that's what makes sense to me.
Right, but we're going off reviewers.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I'm just. It doesn't even make sense that the Mario game's in that category.
It's 4-player co-op.
The Mario game is?
Yeah. Yeah, all of these are 4-player co-op.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, I thought it was just another Mario game. So now I don't. So now I have no clue. Scratch everything I just said.
All the previous, at least all the Wii U ones, and stuff have been 4-player co-op as well.
Oh, I don't know. The last Mario game I played was on the 64. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. The 3D
Mario.
ones, the 3D ones aren't co-op. The 2D ones, all of the newest ones within the last decade, I believe, have been co-op.
Oh.
I'm not a Mario guy either. I don't. From what I know, the co-op in Mario Bros. Is okay.
Yeah.
It's not anything. I mean, it has like the Dark Souls thing with all of the. You can like see people's ghosts and like give hints and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I don't know. Party Animals might win, but I think Party Animals would win best multiplayer.
Yeah.
And
realizing that I didn't realize that all the family games were 4 players, so that does make a difference.
Yeah, right. And this is also like, what game am I giving my 5-year-old or whatever? Mm-hmm. I still feel like Mario might be too hard for that, but it's Mario and Mario World and all of that stuff. Okay, here's the weird stuff starts coming out. Best fighting game. You got. I'll start from the not weird ones to the weirdest one. We got Street Fighter 6. Makes sense. Pocket Bravery. I've never heard of, but recently I've heard a lot because people are talking about, oh, it's a good game. It should be there. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 being up there. That's fucking crazy. I was not expecting that, but when the reviews just came out for that, it's getting like 9 out of 10.
I was gonna say it came out as a good game.
Yeah, people really like it.
Yeah, I mean they fixed a lot of stuff. I mean, and it is a fighting game.
Right. It's. I mean, if it's a good one of those, but after the launch of the first one, nobody thought the second one was gonna come out swinging like that. Especially when you have Street Fighter 6 on the list. And the next one is Mortal Kombat 1. The final game of Best Fighting Game is God of Rock, which from what I understand is technically a fighting game, but it's also a rhythm game.
Yeah, I don't think I've
It's like...
seen that one.
From what I understand, it's like Guitar Hero battles from back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
God of Rock.
Yeah, which is strange. But
that is weird.
Last year they put Sifu in this list, which is also weird. Which I wouldn't call a fighting game either.
I mean, I guess if you're head to head.
Right.
That's all it takes.
But we'll have, like, we have best action game coming up and stuff like that. Sifu is Batman Arkham Asylum, basically. It's like if you took Arkham Asylum and Souls and kind of put them together almost, or Sekiro.
Yeah.
And Arkham Asylum. Best RPG. This one makes sense to me. Kind of. Baldur's Gate 3. That's... I don't even have to read the rest of this list. That's hands out gonna win.
Yeah.
And then we got Final Fantasy 16, Liza P, Sea of Stars, and then Starfield. Spoilers for later. I'm pretty sure this is the only time we see any mention of Starfield. And I don't know if we see Liza P again. Final Fantasy 16 and Baldur's Gate 3 is all over this list. Sea of Stars also is like a dark horse here where it could win. I think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it, but I feel like Liza P, people want to give that game its flowers. And if that's the only place that they can vote for this game here, I feel like that might be the only vote, or the only one that will come close to beating Baldur's Gate 3. Final Fantasy 16 is definitely a fan favorite, but I don't feel like that game has the staying power of like Baldur's Gate 3.
Right, yeah. There's always another Final Fantasy.
Right. And then this one was, I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is the one that everybody's talking about. Like, Final Fantasy 16, people liked from what I remember this year. But from what I understand, this is the first one that's really not an RPG. This is the first one that's more like an action-adventure game.
Yeah.
Which is the next category. Best action-adventure game. We got Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is straight up Zelda with a bullet. Like, Spider-Man 2, the sentiment is it's good, but it's more of the same. Alan Wake 2 is interesting because everybody loves that game. I don't know if it's going to nudge out Zelda here. I feel like Zelda is so much more about the adventure part of the action adventure that I feel like that could be it.
Yeah, it's much more grand than any of those other games,
right?
Too so.
Right, and I don't know. Resident Evil 4, I guess, could win. Is Resident Evil 4? Star Wars being here is interesting. I didn't think we were going to see a lot of Star Wars at all at the Game Awards. So I'm glad I watched through it when I had that 6th spell. I'm glad that it got some representation, I guess. But I don't know. That one was also, I feel like it has the Marvel Spider-Man 2 sentiment where, like, it's a good game, but it's just more of the same.
Yeah,
and I feel like what the note that Survivor ended on wasn't rememberable enough for it to stick around.
Yeah, I don't think it's trophy worthy.
Yeah, and I that's
accolades, sure, but
Marvel Spider-Man 2 seems to be like that as well, where, like, it's definitely the middle story.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's definitely, like, they couldn't leave it at so much of a cliffhanger where you think, you know, there'll be nothing left, or, like, you're at the edge of your seat. It's like, no, the story will continue on. And it's like, okay, it was fine. It was great.
Right. It was more of what you wanted, but it wasn't, like, anything extra. It wasn't, like, a lot of extra.
Right.
I mean, it was some, but it was really just more of that great Spider-Man feel.
Right. Know? Which I guess you could say that about Zelda as well, but Zelda added on all of the other shit.
I was gonna say they made it a lot more grand though. Like people were playing the new Zelda like it was a new game almost.
Right.
Like same idea behind it, but
yeah, I mean they like double the map size. There's the whole underworld part. There's the whole sky part.
No,
there's,
absolutely.
Like, all the new powers and stuff.
And like people were playing that like as if like there didn't even have to be one before that, and it would have been just as big. Yeah. You know, like. And
it's the first game in a while where you took one of the greatest games of all time and then made it redundant by putting out one of the next best greatest games of all time.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's so much more while also being the same.
Yeah.
Like that's a very interesting game. I think Zelda has that one for sure.
Yeah.
Best action game. We're not going to see any love, I think, for the rest, like, for any of these games anywhere else. I'll go through the list first. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Remnant 2. This is Armored Core.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't even really play action games like that, I guess, because apparently, because I wasn't excited about any of those games.
I think Liza P should have been here.
That would have been a good action game, yeah, technically.
From what I understand, Remnant 2 and Armored Core are the ones that...
Yeah.
Remnant 2 is, like, a sleeper, like, people are really high on that game. DLC just came out, like, this last week, like... It has almost perfect scores. Armored Core 6, of course, is from Software. Nobody does it better than anyone else. Hi-Fi Rush, I feel like so many people played that game in the industry, though, that might be... this. If it's the only place that this game's going to get flowers, it might come up here, but nobody beats From Software, you know?
Yeah.
It's From Software. We got Best VR Game. I don't know. VR's not my thing, but Gran Turismo 7, Humanity, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil Village VR mode. I think it's Humanity that comes in with this one. I think we might see, like, the indie underdog win that. But Humanity is also, like... It's an indie underdog, but it has the critical backing of, like, it's the Tetris Effect people. And Res Infinite. And...
Yeah. I don't know anything about Humanity. Or VR in general. I couldn't even tell you.
Humanity was that puzzle game with all of... It's the Lemmings, like, with all of the people that you're trying to lead into the light. And you play as that little ghost dog. Leading them.
Okay.
There's a VR version where it makes it into like a 3D object.
Yeah.
As well, so you can play either way, like how they did with Tetris Effect.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it makes like the puzzle part turns like a 3D diorama that you can spin around and stuff like that. But the actual game is you're leading thousands and thousands of people like a Lemmings like through these puzzles and stuff.
Yeah.
People really like it. People like stuff when it makes them feel profound.
That's true, yeah.
And that studio does a lot of that. Best mobile game, we got Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. We got Honkai Star Rail, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil.
Nice.
I've heard a lot about Terra Nil, but I've never seen it. Monster Hunter Now is the Pokemon Go Monster Hunter game. Hello Kitty Island Adventure is the Hello Kitty MMO that came out earlier that people were like, oh, it's the World of Warcraft game, but real.
What?
Yeah.
The World of Warcraft game, but real.
The South Park World of Warcraft. Yeah, in the South Park episode, everybody's playing World of Warcraft, and then Butters is like, I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And then I mean, it was never a real game
Oh.
up until now.
Now it really
and now
is.
it's like
That's
it is
crazy.
a game.
Wow.
It's on Apple Arcade.
That's funny.
Yeah, people seem high on it, but I think it was for the meme.
Right. That's funny though that it even made the top. It's in the list too.
Right.
Like that's how.
Yeah. Honkai Star Rail, I think, has this in the bag. But you're going up against a Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is like a remake of Final Fantasy VII and then all of the extra stuff in a mobile game. And it's free, I think.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, Honkai Star Rail is Genshin Impact. It's, that's the gacha waifu game that everybody loves.
Right.
And it, I think, comes out on PS5 like this week or something like that. Next one, we got Best Debut Indie Game. We got Cocoon. We got Dredge. We got Pizza Tower. We got Venba. And we got Viewfinder. I think it's Pizza Tower.
Yeah, I think that one probably blew up the most.
Yeah.
Out of the 5. It became like a hardcore
sure.
streaming game for a minute.
For sure. I think Dredge also.
Silly but serious,
Yeah. People really like Dredge as well. That was the H.P. Lovecraft horror fishing game.
Yeah.
Cocoon I've heard a lot of good things about. It's more recent and maybe has recency bias because of that. But it was getting a lot of like 9s out of 10s and stuff. It's where you play as a bug carrying an orb and then you go into that orb and then like you do a puzzle with another orb and then you break out of that orb and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's made by the half of the team that made Limbo and Inside as well.
I think that's on the Game Pass too.
Yes. I think actually
it.
the majority. I think Venba is for sure. Viewfinder might be PlayStation exclusive. Viewfinder, I heard good things about, but I think there's so much of the talky bullshit that weighs that game down.
Yeah.
And it's not enough weird mind-bending puzzles. There's a lot of like some lady talking in your ear because it's a simulation or whatever. So there's some mixed feelings on that. Venba seems interesting. That's like a 2-hour game.
Yeah.
And people were really, really high on it. And it's just like you learn some recipes in Indian cooking or whatever, and then it seems sweet. I think Pizza Tower has that in the bag though. If Cocoon doesn't have recency bias, I'm surprised Humanity wasn't there, but I guess PlayStation published technically Humanity, so it's not
an indie game.
Technically. Which comes to the main controversy of our next category. Best Independent Game. Cocoon. Dave the Diver. Dredge. Sea of Stars. And Viewfinder. Viewfinder was published by Thunderful, which Thunderful is technically independent, but so is Sad Owl, which is the real studio. But Best Independent Game in the eyes of the Video Game Awards, in their definition, it says a game published outside of the normal publishing structure. Dave the Diver's here.
Yeah.
Dave the Diver looks like an indie game. It is not an indie game.
No.
Dave the Diver is published by Nexon, which Nexon is a giant Chinese company that publishes games and stuff like that. The studio is Mint Rocket, which is owned by Nexon.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into the argument of like, what is an independent game now? Is it a feel? Is it a vibe? Or are we actually talking about independent studios here? Because
right, that's what would make sense. It couldn't, like, it's not like a aesthetic or something. You know, it's
right.
like a
Yeah, I'll bring up Dave the Diver too.
it's like a literal term. It's a literal definition of the word. Like, you know,
Right.
5 people in their garage made a game.
Right, and I mean, Dave the Diver could be 20 people or whatever. It could be a super small studio, but
Yeah, but if it came out of a
it's
megalopolis,
Right.
you know, game industry, it's not independent.
right. So I mean, like, although I think it's right. So like, all of these nominees aren't the Game Awards giving nominees, right? And then people judge. These are people send in the nominees, and then people judge.
Oh.
So I don't know if it's a ignorance thing, just not simply not knowing who made this game,
That could be.
or if we're trying to say something here because we had best indie or best debut indie game beforehand,
Yeah.
and then now we have best independent game. What are we trying to?
Yeah,
do
that is
here?
true. What are the, yeah.
And that's been a contention of talking for a while now. It's like, why are we splitting these two? Are we just giving out
What was the
more
first one?
awards? Best debut indie.
Oh, so see the only difference would be the debut. The debut would be within the last, like, brand new games, and then the other one would be like.
Best debut indie game is when a new studio makes their first game.
Oh, okay.
That's technically, it's an independent studio making their first game.
Right. It's a new
best
studio,
indie
new game.
And then best independent game is
An independent studio,
just making a
just
game.
a game in general, whether it's their first one or not. But it has to be an independent studio.
Right. So now we also have Thunderful Publishing here. We have Cocoons under Annapurna Interactive Publishing. Team 17 is publishing Dredge. So like now we're in this weird thing with indies where like indies aren't just putting out games anymore. They're pitching games to publishers to get publishing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, how involved are publishers at that point? I mean, like, you can be an indie studio and make an independent thing and then take it to somebody and be like, I just need some marketing budget, or I just need somebody to help pay to keep the lights on for a bit. Or you have the other side of publishing where it's like, no, they straight up like are hands-on and stuff like that. Like,
like you're in their studios making the
right
stuff, and
like Return to Monkey Island, for instance, like, or maybe not. Maybe Return to Monkey Island was straight up a LucasArts Studios thing, but I could have sworn it was another studio. Disney Illusion Island. That's an indie studio. That's a small studio that has nothing to do with Disney.
really,
But Disney, of course, is a Disney game, so Disney's gonna fork over, some money for it and help publish that game and help it get funded. Technically, it's an independent game because it's an indie studio,
right?
but it's not an
But
indie
it's
game.
backed by Disney.
Yeah, so you got some weird.
Yeah,
some
there's a
weird
lot of
mix
like.
with like that as well.
Yeah, because I mean, nothing's black or white when it comes to like making a game. There's so many ways to go about it. Like, so it is hard, I guess, to distinguish
Right.
what's true indie. Like how.
Right, but I
how
think
raw does it have to be?
if Dave the Diver's here for it feeling like an independent game,
Right.
and not being an independent game, I think Disney Illusion Island should also be on this list because of that reason.
Yeah, I don't know what
It
that
is
game
an
is.
indie
What's that
game.
Disney Illusion Island.
What?
What game is that?
That's the
Oh, is that the one with the
co-op.
4 people? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
with the
okay,
new
okay.
cartoon style and everything.
Yeah.
But it is an independent studio. It's the
It
same.
is an independent studio. Yeah, that's true.
It feels like an independent.
I think it looks a lot cleaner though.
Right. Right,
and
because
that's
it
probably
has
what
the budget.
Right, and that's probably what deters it from the look.
Yeah,
That
I think it still looks.
maybe
like,
they're going for.
I think it looks like I mean, that's within the best. I think it looks like an independent game from like the old Flash era of like.
Oh yeah,
platformers
I
and
think
stuff like
but I think just I'm biased because I've seen the animation that is kind of based off of already. I've seen all the cartoons,
for sure.
and it's like so in my head it's like the 2023 like it's like a brand new style to me.
For sure.
So when I see it, like I can see it going either way because you're right. It is an independent studio or whatever. But
I'm just saying on the merits as well, like it being that is technically an independent studio that's being funded by a non-independent.
So they
company.
should be able to.
Versus Dave the Diver is not an independent studio being funded by their parent company.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I think it's an ignorance thing. I think it's just people didn't know, and Dave the Diver is a really good game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, maybe if that Disney game didn't have the word Disney in it, people would be less likely to think that.
Right, if it was just called Illusion Island.
But like, how many people would even consider it being an independent, from an independent company? Just with the word Disney in it, people are going to assume, oh, this is Disney. This is a Disney game. They're not even going to look into it for the most part.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Even if it does look like that, or you could probably even tell some people that, and they'd be like, "Yeah, but it's still a Disney game." Like, you know.
For sure.
So,
no, I agree. I agree 100%.
I could see that as the issue as well.
Yeah, I'm not. I would not say it is an independent game, even though it is from an independent studio.
Yeah. Okay. Just because it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my argument is, if Dave the Diver is allowed to not be
For
an
sure.
independent game.
No, absolutely. I think it should definitely still be.
There's
in the running. And it looks great. Honestly, this whole time watching it, it looks like a really fun game.
Yeah, people.
Even though I'm not a fan of underwater levels in games.
Yeah. Well, you go to
This looks
underwater
cool.
to catch fish,
Just
and
the
the
fish you
underwater is like all randomly generated. Like there's some quests and stuff underwater, like a whole like SeaWorld aspect underwater.
Oh, so it's like a.
But you hunt fish for your sushi restaurant.
It's a roguelike fishing game, kind of.
Right, but you don't. If you don't have to worry about dying and losing all your shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. That's what I would.
Yeah,
you would think so, because when you die in the water, you fucking.
Yeah, no, it just resends you to the top.
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever.
That's cool.
You do lose the shit on your run, for sure.
Yeah.
But you're not like
dead forever.
Right.
Start a new restaurant type shit.
No.
That's cool.
And you're going out hunting.
This could even be considered a sim game, right?
Yes. Yes, I would put this in the strategy sim category for sure. Over independent game.
Yeah.
Next one is another controversial one because we got, especially after last week, man, like best community support. This goes to Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, No Man's Sky. Why is Destiny 2 here?
What title? What category is this?
Best community
support. What does that
so like
mean?
Basically like skins and shit like that.
Really?
Like just supporting your community with expansions and
oh,
shit like
okay.
that. Like Destiny 2 did have a giant expansion this year.
Yeah.
But nobody liked it.
Right.
And then
it was
just
like
laid off so many people.
Yeah, that's kind of like a spit in the face.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we laid you all off, but your game could really win some awards.
Yeah, what the?
And we're gonna reap all the benefits from it.
Cyberpunk 2077, okay. Like, there's a lot of goodwill there. No Man's Sky is also here, and Final Fantasy 14. They all have similar stories of these were shit games at launch, and they built them into these amazing games, and they still continue to support it.
Yep.
Yeah,
the fan base held strong.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is a little strange because it's not an online game, so there's not really a community.
aspect of it.
Right.
Baldur's Gate 3, I guess you could also say that, but Baldur's Gate 3 is... I don't even know why Baldur's Gate 3
I was going to say, Baldur's Gate 3 started so strong. Weird. The support, I mean, yeah, sure, the support's been there the whole time because it's been a great game.
It was early access for so long.
That's true.
That's why they were in early access forever.
Oh. Yeah,
that
but
makes
still.
Sense to me. They took community support
and made it into a
better game.
I mean, if that's how you get into the category, games start taking notes because you can get a free category by just having early access for a few months.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few games that I wouldn't want. I could see replacing, but I wouldn't want them here either. Like I could see Rocket League being here. I wouldn't want Rocket League being here because of all the epic shit.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 is the same issue that I have with Rocket League if it was here. Final Fantasy 14 makes sense, but they don't have an expansion this year. They're just doing their thing in between expansions. Same thing with No Man's Sky. I don't think it had a super substantial update. It's very strange. Fortnite should maybe be here. I don't know. Call of Duty's not here. Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, like there's a bunch of other live service games that probably should be here that aren't here. No Man's Sky or Final Fantasy 14 should take it.
Yeah.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it because it's another spot for Baldur's Gate 3 to be voted on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it should be... Actually, I think it'll be 14. Like, I think there's enough 14 people out there that... Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we get Best Ongoing Game. After community support.
Best Ongoing Game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's just been going...
Yeah, live service games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We got Apex Legends.
Sure.
After all of the,
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, technically it's an ongoing game, but you remember they're like bleeding people. They shut down the mobile server or the mobile game.
Yeah, the game's just continuously been going downhill for the last however long. I mean, they started off strong, but I think they just started off too strong, and then tried chasing that dragon, and then lost momentum, and now they're just like another.
Well, they cut off half the development of because they cut out that one dude left, the Titanfall dude, so they canceled the Titanfall expansion that they were adding in.
Right, which was something that people wanted from day one. Right. They were like, I really just want this to be another Titanfall.
Right, so all that momentum's gone.
Yeah.
And then they shut down the mobile game.
Right.
So they lost all their mobile players that were left. And because they're not adding any new shit, they're just bleeding players now.
Mm-hmm.
Because they canceled all of their future plans. Cyberpunk 2077's here again. It did get an expansion this year. The expansion is not mentioned here. If you're going to put Cyberpunk here, I think you should just put Phantom Liberty there. But sure. I don't think it belongs here. Final Fantasy 14. Okay. That makes sense. And then we got Fortnite. And then we got Genshin Impact. It's probably going to Fortnite. Fortnite's had an amazing year this year.
Yeah.
Besides Epic, Fortnite has had an amazing year this year with people really like that Season 1 update that just came back. Was no build mode this year, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you have all of the random characters that people have wanted just being added in. Was Goku this year? I don't remember. Fortnite blends in together.
Yeah, there's so many now. It's
yeah,
it's a mess.
Yeah, for sure. Games for Impact. So this one's cool. It's an indie thing. Usually these are culturally relevant, giving a voice to the voiceless kind of games, or games with charity drives behind them, games with a message.
Yeah.
So we got A Space for the Unbound, makes sense. The game is, from what I know, is a really good game. Go check it out. I could not give you the details because I don't know enough about the details. Chants of Sinar, I've never heard of. But okay, cool. I'll check it out. Goodbye Volcano High. I've heard good things about, but I feel like that just came and went. And that's the
PlayStation revealed it like 2 years ago or so. It's the visual novel dinosaur game.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a whole bunch of dinosaur teenagers in high school in a rock band.
Wow.
They're all like, you know, the end of the world is coming and they're dinosaurs and they're just teenage angst. And I don't know, people really liked it though.
That sounds cool.
Then we got Chia. I think Chia will probably take this one.
Yeah.
But Chia was cool. Chia's a 3D platformer, Zelda Breath of the Wild like.
Oh, okay.
Where you play as the little island girl and you have like a superpower that turns you in. You can like take the form of objects.
Oh, right.
Like kind of like the Mario Odyssey throwing the cap. You like can jump into a bird and then fly around as a bird, or you can be a rock, or you can be a radio, or
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it seemed pretty good. And then we got Terranel again. I gotta look it up because I haven't seen anything about this, but I've heard people talk about it. And then we got Venba. Venba's here as well. I think Chia will take this just on the amount of people that played Chia.
Yeah.
But from what I understand about Impact, A Space for the Unbound, we'll probably take this one. I know as much about these games as you do, so.
I was gonna say these are all foreign to me for the most part. I don't even.
Yeah, the only one that I know, well, I guess I know 3 of these semi well. Volcano High, I'm like, but Chia and Venba I've seen gameplay of. Like, I know what those games are for sure. Innovation and accessibility. These make sense. These make sense. Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. I think this is Street Fighter 6 with a bullet. Street Fighter 6 has so much cool accessibility shit. So much so that I don't know if he won the competition, but he got pretty fucking close. Where a blind dude just swept through Evo through Street Fighter 6 based off audio cues alone.
Wow.
Audio cues and I think haptics as well with the PS5 controller.
That's cool.
There's a lot of really cool stuff in Street Fighter 6. Forza Motorsport as well. Forza Xbox is always on top of that shit. Diablo 4, I understand, is in that same spot. Hi-Fi Rush also is an Xbox joint. So there's that. Marvel Spider-Man 2, I know has a bunch of stuff, but I don't think people are happy with it. From what I understand. I know people are probably okay with it, but Sony's weird where like they're all about accessibility and stuff like that. But none of their studios are alike across the board. Like what the God of War team is working on will be completely different than the Naughty Dog team, and they'll share ideas, right? But, like they're never like
their accessibility
100%.
isn't like, equal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Street Fighter 6 has that just because of that story alone.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds pretty. Yeah. Sounds incredible.
Best performance, we got Ben Starr, the internet's favorite Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16. We got Cameron Monaghan for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We got Idris Elba for Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Melanie Liburd for Alan Wake 2. Neil Newbon for Baldur's Gate 3. And Yuri Lowenthal for Marvel Spider-Man 2. I really don't know. This one I don't know. I think Ben Starr.
I mean, I only recognize Idris Elba.
Yeah, for sure. I have name alone, but Ben Starr is, I say the internet's favorite Ben Starr is because that dude just lives on the internet, and there's 1,000 memes of him like trying out for different roles and stuff like that, which are just him doing the Final Fantasy Clive voice, but as different characters, like the Mario voice and all that stuff. He's like, it's a me, Mario, and stuff. But he's just a nice dude, and he's friends with all of the games journalists now. Like, I mean, I don't want to sound like the dude's just doing it to get the awards, because he's a really nice dude and stuff like that. But it's like, none of these other people are doing the rounds, like, doing personal hangouts. Like, the dude was on the Easy Allies podcast because, you know, he's a huge Easy Allies fan.
Right.
He wasn't there to be interviewed for Final Fantasy 16. He was just there to hang out. And he's like that with everybody that
I mean, if you get to that level, why not?
Right.
You know?
Right.
But some people just don't. Like, he has, like, that's his, like, lifestyle. But, like, someone like Idris Elba, for instance, that's just, like, one role, and then he has to move on.
Right.
You know, he doesn't have time to kind of bop around. Like, I don't really know. I can't account for all of them, but.
Right. I don't think Idris Elba will take it. Grab my vape wherever it is. There it is. I don't think Idris Elba will take it. I don't think Keanu Reeves took it for that year either. Cameron Monaghan, I mean, he's a good actor, but it's more of Star Wars. Same thing with Yuri Lowenthal. It's more Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It's a good Peter Parker, but it's also just more. Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate 3. He's not the main character. He's like the mage character. You're like, I think he plays, his name's Gale.
He's like this hot guy.
Yes. Well, I mean, everybody in that game's hot. Unless if you make them ugly. But, yeah, he's fine. I think this is Ben Starr. Like, straight up.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be.
Best audio design. This is more of my bag of when we start getting up these. More of the stuff I care about is the better way to put it. Best audio design: Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4. I think this is Alan Wake 2 for sure. Hi-Fi Rush being here is, I didn't realize that I was gonna be here. It's a rhythm game, but other than that, I mean, it's an action game where you do the actions on the beat. But I don't think it's doing anything special with audio outside of that. Alan Wake 2 is a multimedia masterpiece. There's fucking interstitials with fucking musical numbers. There's like transitional audio between, like, you know, people whispering all over the place, and like the weird things it does with like throwing voices across the room like that. And then there's just so much weird and creepy shit hidden in the audio of that game specifically, but also like, yeah, there's so much cool musical shit in that game. There's like that game's a audio feat. I really think it will take it.
I think the only one that comes close is Spider-Man, just because there's definitely a variety of stuff that they did in that game. Like just the soundtracks that they had to produce 2 separate soundtracks for the characters. Right. And then not all, I mean, I don't know 100%, but like so many of the NPCs have their own individual, unique conversations that you can come across. And it's not just like like a GTA conversation where it's just like someone on the phone and they say a couple, canned lines, and it's the same time. It's like
Right.
everyone's having these, almost human-like convos, and I don't know if that counts as in this category, but that seems like it would, right? It's audio, right?
It's all of audio.
So, and that would, between that and like the soundtracks and stuff, I feel like that would make it come close. But you're right, a horror game, especially with the amount of depth and just freaky shit they had to do, and then on top of all the songs that are literally about the game and stuff as it's happening.
Right.
I feel that would probably be first, but Spider-Man I feel like would definitely be the only one that has its own unique audio. It's not just like an audio game or something. Like they did go a couple extra steps.
Right. It is the second one though, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it is better.
So
they did more than the first one.
Right.
For sure, but yeah, you're right. It is the second one. Well, I mean, Alan Wake 2
is Alan Wake 2 is, but Alan Wake 1 was 13 years ago.
For
on
sure.
the 360.
Yeah.
And I agree, Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's the same thing of what I feel with Dead Space and Resident Evil 4. Like, all great audio. They redid the audio and everything. They made it super atmospheric and stuff like that. But it's also like, I played through Dead Space. I've played through Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Like,
Those were great audio designs back then too. They killed it with this game.
Marvel Spider-Man 2, I agree. I watched a lot of like how they recorded that audio and stuff, with like just having people like walk around the room and stuff, just like spouting lines and stuff like that.
A lot of improv and stuff. I feel.
They did some really cool stuff there. I think that's the battle right there. Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2. I think Alan Wake 2 will nudge it out.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man 2 is not on the next one, which is Best Score in Music, which is Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's Alan Wake 2, man.
Yeah.
Like, Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm game. The music's great, but it's nothing impactful. Baldur's Gate 3 is more, fantasy.
Just opera.
Skyrim.
Singing,
Witcher. Same thing with Legend of Zelda. Is amazing soundtrack.
Right.
There's barely any soundtrack in that game.
Yeah.
It's very minimal, on purpose. I mean, when it hits, but fucking Alan Wake 2, man. I've seen like 7 or 8 hours of that game now.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's an insane game. And the music in that game, the music alone, just the variety of genres, the weird, like, literal music numbers. Like,
yeah.
There's literal characters breaking out in a song and dance in some parts.
That's great.
And then there's, at the end of chapters, there's songs in between each chapter that are retelling the story and giving you new hints inside the song.
Wow.
Without, like, beating it over your head. There's stuff like that. There's the regular spooky, like, horror soundtrack to it. Like, there's some crazy stuff in that game. It is really impressive. The cool stuff that they do with, like, transitional audio with the music numbers and stuff like that. Like, when that's happening around you, it's like characters popping in and out and stuff like that, and like throwing voices all over the room and stuff like that, and it's really cool. That's a really cool soundtrack. I think music alone wise, out of just like re-listenable stuff, it would also be Alan Wake 2. Yeah, I don't think any Final Fantasy 16. I guess people really like Final Fantasy soundtracks, and
but it's very similar to the others on that list.
Right.
It's very much like just symphonic opera.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I heard much of anything special out of this one, which is not to say it's bad, but I don't.
There's definitely a theme that they stick to.
Right.
You know?
But, like, there's some banger hits.
Yeah.
Like, when there's a Final Fantasy soundtrack that hits with, like, One Winged Angel, or, like, there's a song at the end of Endwalker, the Final Fantasy 14, like, end chapter that was, like, huge. That's an amazing song.
Yeah.
They did do some crazy stuff with this, like, all of the primals, like, have their own music and stuff that are really cool.
But I just don't think it's gonna hit as hard as Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
We got Best Art Direction next. Best Art Direction, Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Liza P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I did not think Liza P would be here. I don't think it's going to Liza P. I'd be surprised.
For art direction, you don't think so?
No. Not amongst Mario, Zelda, and Alan Wake 2.
I think Alan Wake could probably win, but, like, for art direction, I think Liza P has a chance just because they took this story of Pinocchio and the direction, literally, they took it.
Right.
Is so drastic.
Right.
And so, I don't want to say unseen, but just, like, so crazy to take this, like, child story and turn it into a Dark Souls.
True.
You know.
But I think that might be where people lose that, where it's the aesthetic is too much Bloodborne. Like, it's a good Bloodborne.
Oh, for sure.
Really,
it may be too Bloodborne, but it's like, but I think that the ability to take such a story and craft that kind of visual from it, could be what takes it to the, because everything else is just another Zelda game, another Alan Wake game, another, they're all things we've already seen.
Alan Wake is.
I mean, I do want to. I'm gonna start watching Alan Wake 2 stuff. So that's why I said that one is probably the only one that stands a chance because it does do other things.
Yeah.
Like artistically, that's different. But like the Zelda game is just more fantastical Zelda stuff. And then what was the other one?
Mario.
Mario.
I would say it's a new version of Mario.
It's definitely a new version of Mario, but it's
the art direction is that.
It's still, it's just more newer, trippier Mario. So that definitely could lean into it.
Hi-Fi Rush, maybe. I just think that's such an underdog here.
Yeah.
Compared to everybody else.
That one's popped up a lot though too, so maybe that one won't.
Yeah, I think that's one of the games where like, oh, this was a really good game at the beginning of the year, so we don't want to forget about it, so we're gonna put it across everything.
Yeah.
And then I don't feel like it's gonna get the votes stacked against it compared to these other games.
I think this is another one of those categories where Liza P's in it and has a better chance of winning because all these other games are in so many other categories.
Yeah.
Except for Hi-Fi. Well, even Hi-Fi is in a few more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think people might want to give Liza P their flowers, and I agree that the art direction is what makes that game the automatons or whatever.
I mean, I think that's like the direction alone is really like you said, it literally is what creates that game because other than because outside of the story and stuff, it is just another Souls game basically, but they were able to like transform and create this thing.
Right. Alan Wake. I think it's Alan Wake. I think Liza P has the next spot. I would not be surprised if it ends up going to Mario or one of those though.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Mario Wonder is.
I think Mario also has a slight chance because they do a lot of new stuff.
That game is insane. How much variety? It's not just how much new stuff. It's every single level is something new.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a whole
Every single level is a new idea they've never tried before. Mm-hmm. And it's a new idea for that one level, and they never go back to it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, it's basically just
kind of insane.
It's just a conglomeration of.
Yeah, they took like. I mean, they said it before. They didn't have a date set for this game, and they didn't have any ideas, so they just did everyone's idea.
Nice.
And they had unlimited budget and time, so they just keep making it. And they have they have people who have been there since it was like 4 out of the 5 people that made the original Mario worked on this game.
Wow.
Along with, all of the new blood as well. They did something crazy with Mario Bros. I think, and I'm not a Mario guy, so I didn't play it, but I played like the demo and stuff, but like I watched somebody play through that whole game. I watched Kyle Bossman play it all the way through, and that's a good Mario, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They do some really surprising things all the way through that game. Yeah, that game also has cool musical numbers in it and weird stuff like that too.
Right, that's true. I've seen some of those already. That's another game I'm probably just gonna watch.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get deeper, I need to pee really bad.
Yeah, go for it. Go crazy.
The last few days, I wasn't sick, but like, I don't know. I guess my body doesn't like mushrooms anymore because I ate a pizza with mushrooms on it, and then it was like, I've been in serious pain last 3 days.
I thought you were talking about like tripping mushrooms.
No.
So I can't handle
probably.
psychedelics anymore.
My body just probably wouldn't digest it. No, it was like some of the worst gas pain I've had in a while.
Oof. That sucks.
Yeah, so now my stomach's like, it doesn't hurt anymore, but it's like sore for sure. So like right then I was like, I need to pee, and then I got up and I was like, oh god, fuck, that hurt. I don't know why, but yeah. So I love mushrooms so much. Such a bummer. Back to the games. Best narrative is our next category. We got Alan Wake 2. We got Baldur's Gate 3. We got Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Now we're saying it. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Final Fantasy 16. Marvel Spider-Man 2. I think this is Baldur's Gate 3, man. Like, Alan Wake 2 is probably the next runner-up here, but...
For what For
best narrative?
Oh, yeah, because you can choose the narrative.
Yeah, I think it's Baldur's Gate 3.
The narrative's so unique in Baldur's Gate and so individualized that it's like, yeah. I think that would definitely win. And then Alan Wake just having its own incredible, and I mean, there is some different, endings and stuff, so there is some unique narrative to it, but yeah, I think Baldur's Gate would definitely, just with the amount of narrative in that game, you could play it several times probably and get different.
Yeah, I don't know if there's different endings, but I think you'll get different things out of it for sure.
And stuff.
I don't think it will be. I think you'll start grasping onto different things when you play through that game, because the way. This isn't a secret for Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 and the Remedy games is all like one universe.
Yeah.
All their games like tie into each other, like not just directly, not directly. Some of them more direct than others, but like they all
one way or the other. Yeah, they're on the web. Yeah.
The narrative portion is also like. There's Max Payne 1, 2, and 3. There's Alan Wake 1. There's Quantum Break. There's Control, and now Alan Wake 2.
Right.
And they pay off on all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out from the first 8 hours of that I've seen of that game. They've paid off on like crazy shit that I would have never thought. Like they do so much cool things at that game, man. I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah, it's insane.
I'm literally probably just going to go home and start watching it today, because I don't know if I'll ever get to play it, and honestly, I don't know if I want to, since I haven't played the first one. So...
You don't need to play the first one?
No. I mean, I played through at least half of Control, so...
Yeah. It ties into Control more directly, because that's more recent.
It's more recent, yeah.
But also... I mean, Alan Wake 1, you get the gist of it of, like, it's a writer who's going through some crazy shit, and it's a third-person action game where you use your flashlight. It's more of the story part of Alan Wake 1, which the story part you can just read a Wikipedia for.
Right. Watch a quick video.
Yeah, but playing it and paying attention to details in those games is what really pays off.
Yeah.
Like, characters are different. Voice actors might be different. Characters that were once different characters in other games might show up as different characters in another game. And it's really cool what they do with that.
Yeah.
They do a lot of that in their games. Quantum Break is kind of like the weirdest one, where like in the first hour of that game you see like a giant chalkboard that has like the whole plot for Alan Wake 2 on it, because they've been working on this game for like 10 years.
That's cool,
or something. And there's trailers for Alan Wake 2 in that game and stuff, like 7 years before the game was ever announced, you know? The crazy stuff. Next category, best adaptation. I feel like I saw none of these. Kyle's seen one of these. Best adaptation, Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, Last of Us, Super Mario Bros., and Twisted Metal.
Is that like movie or shows from
Shows
games?
and movies, yeah.
What was the first one?
Castlevania Nocturne.
That's the anime?
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's the,
It's like the sequel anime?
Yeah.
yeah.
I like those. Those were good.
From what I understand, people like all of these, man. Like, people had a lot of good things to say
I've never
about.
seen the Mario one.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mario. I think Mario's
Twisted
probably
Metal,
gonna
I feel like people are making fun of.
people are really high on
I
Twisted
haven't,
Metal. People,
I've only seen funny reviews about Twisted Metal. Maybe it's
Right.
just...
Because it is a comedy. I think there's a lot to make fun of it, but from what I understand,
I haven't seen
it's
it, though.
like
It's on
good.
Peacock or something?
Yeah.
It's like a weird station.
Yeah, it's on Peacock for sure.
Um,
Which so is the Mario movie, so I mean it might be worth getting Peacock for like a week and
Maybe, yeah.
watching all of Twisted Metal and
Last of Us is on HBO. I haven't seen The Last of Us, but of course it's The Last of Us. I think Last of Us wins this, honestly, out of all of these.
Probably, yeah. It's definitely the most, like, one-to-one
Yeah, but
adaptation.
also, like, on merit alone, dude, like, it's the Chernobyl dude, along with,
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure. That's what yeah.
yeah, production
On top of, yeah, it definitely has the highest, like, production value.
yeah, I think Last of Us has it. Not Last of Us, it's Mario, for sure. I'm surprised Gran Turismo is even in this list, but I guess you gotta fill it out.
That's the game. That's the movie about the kid who.
turns into the race car driver.
I mean, I guess.
from Gran
I mean, it
Turismo.
makes sense.
Yeah, and
People seem fine.
If
about
anything,
it.
it's the most literal adaptation because he's like. It's
Yeah,
like the
it's a
most
real
meta
story.
adaptation because it's like
It's a
it's a movie about a gamer that became a racer.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it's a real story about a kid who becomes a gamer who becomes a racer, but the story's still fake. I don't know. It's a very
there's a lot.
There's a lot. Best game direction. Different from what was the other one? Art direction. Best game direction. So this is gameplay alone is what I don't know what they mean by this. Are you talking because you have best art direction, right? So you're just talking about the merits of art. Best game direction, are you talking about gameplay feel? Or are you just talking about all of the game alone's direction?
Yeah.
But we got the usual suspects, it seems. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Legend of Zelda. It's Alan Wake 2. I would be surprised if it wasn't. It would go to Baldur's Gate 3 if not. I think it's Alan Wake 2, man.
Yeah, I don't really understand that category, so I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, I think this is like this is
Like some of these they're getting a little too
they're
niche.
but they're not niche enough.
Yeah.
Like they're obscure. Is what I would say.
Yeah.
Because they're not. What I want to see is like best audio design, best visual design, but also like. I mean, you have like technical just like more technical like achievements versus like these broader ones.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna whip out a best first hour of the gameplay ever, or some like random.
Right, because
like,
we have best.
Do we need to give an award for that?
We have best art direction, best narrative, and then best game direction.
I feel like game direction and narrative are the same.
Right, or I feel like game direction encompasses art direction, score, music, audio design, and performance.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
It just encompasses it all, which it makes it feel like, hey, this one's not the Game of the Year nominee, but whoever. This is for the person who's not winning Game of the Year.
Yeah,
basically.
Or they win that one and Game of the Year.
Right, which does happen too.
And it's like
for sure.
Just another award.
I think it's Alan Wake 2 year, but who knows? It could be Baldur's Gate 3. But the last category is the titular Game of the Year awards. This is the only category with 6 nominees, by the way. Every other category has said 5. This is the only one with 6. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. They started doing 6. People want them to do 10. I think 6 is fine. I get it.
Yeah, I think 10 is a lot.
10 is a lot, but there's a lot of good games out there.
Yeah, but I mean, we're narrowing it down to 1. We should start that process, make that process a little easier.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because then the winner out of 10 could have won by such a smaller margin than out of 6.
Right.
You know, you really want to try to capitalize.
And I feel like there's one here that's unlike the other.
Okay.
So, we got Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3. Yep.
Sure.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Super Mario... I'm going to skip the weird one. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Legend of Zelda. And that weird Dark Horse one. Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Okay. That is weird.
Oh, yeah. What?
It's not a... Yeah.
I mean, Resident Evil 4 Remake is a really good game. And Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, you know, all these remakes have been good. Resident Evil 4, before the remake, was good. It does not need to be here.
Did it win Game of the Year when it was first came out?
Yeah, I assume so. In 2004, I guess, that would have been. I don't know, man. That's so weird.
I don't think it stands a chance with all the others, but that is such a weird... Like, why even have a 6 that's going to be your...
Right.
6th one, you know? It's like, if we did have 10, what would the other 4 have been at that point? Just like the second Star Wars game or something? Like, I don't know.
Right. Why isn't... I mean, I don't think Star Wars would have won, but Star Wars isn't here.
Yeah, I guess
Cocoon isn't here.
Even Pikmin.
Pikmin 4 isn't here.
Even the new
fucking
Mortal Kombat game. Or not Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 isn't here. I'm surprised that
And that's like a huge... it's a big online community. People play it every day.
Right.
You know, that's one of those games that are like... That's a dedicated game. Like, games like that, you dedicate yourself to it, that should be a Game of the Year game.
Armored Core 6, dude.
Yeah. Even that Star game.
Remnant 2, Sea of Stars, Pizza Tower.
Well, I don't know. Pizza Tower. That was a fad game, maybe.
Right, but these are all games the games that I'm mentioning right now are games that like got 9 out of 10s this year.
For sure. Yeah.
Like,
when I think of Game of the Year, though, I guess I think of a game that I literally played. I mean, even if it didn't come at the beginning of the year, I played all year or couldn't put it down. You know, blah blah blah. Pizza Tower was great, but I think it was definitely a fad.
There's a speedrunning community for that game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the speedrunning community has probably tripled in the last 3 or 4 years just because, I mean, the pandemic definitely helped boost that, but speedrunning has become huge.
Right, but that game alone is...
Yeah.
That's like
but I think speedrunning is like a niche
Why wasn't that?
thing.
I mean...
Speedrunning should have been a category, though. Why isn't speedrunning a category? Best speedrunning game or something along those... I mean, that's like a whole
they have
thing now, you know?
all of their other stuff that we didn't mention is Content Creator of the Year, Best Esports Game, Best Esports Athlete, Esports Team, Esports Coach, and Esports Event. Those are usually awards they give out in the pre-show.
I was going to say, that could just be its own thing. Why can't the esports just have a little sideshow?
Yeah, they usually give those out in the pre-show, like, and there'll be like, and that was a good world premiere, and here's the awards for best esports goes to,
right,
and here's the next world premiere.
Because esports already in itself is a competition.
Yeah.
So, like, they're already getting their rewards and stuff.
Right. It's all community voted stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, I mean, it used to, we don't have it here, but like, best esports moment was the category for a long time. And that was, yeah, it was.
I got top 10 play.
Right. And you'd have like a full paragraph of like, Sonic Fox taking out
oh my God.
blah blah blah
yeah.
in this event doing this move,
right?
And it's like, well, I mean,
that
like,
is super niche. That's more niche than speedruns.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. If like, why doesn't Games Done Quick have a category like sponsored by GDQ? Like that should be a thing. I mean, like,
absolutely.
Actually, that makes GDQ pay for something.
I mean, speedrunning is literally what got Twitch on their feet.
Yeah,
like they should fucking have their own thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I agree for sure.
And I mean, it is almost always like one of the first type of review videos when a new game comes out. It's like tips and tricks on how to beat the game. This guy beat the game in 12 seconds. You know, it's like the number 2 video for everything. Yeah. Like speedrunning is one of the, you know, the top ways of playing a game or whatever. But yeah,
I wonder
that is interesting. Game of the year.
I wonder what next year will be like. Like, because Overwatch, a lot of the esports stuff, I feel like is dying out. You know, like there's still like League of Legends and Dota, but like Overwatch League, they killed Overwatch League this year.
Yeah, I think it'll fluctuate. It'll fall for a bit, and it'll come back with some new bangers later in the year because people still want it.
Yeah, I mean,
they just need something supportive.
Multiverses coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
that could really.
I
was thinking of. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the new Nintendo game.
Right.
Nickelodeon game.
No, Multiverses is the WB one that they took offline and said, "Oh, it was in early access that whole time, and we're coming out with 1.0 next year."
Right. No, I think the Super Smash Brawls.
I think Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl has like straight up a chance at EVA next year. From what I know about that game and how they're gonna support it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it has fucking Tom Kenny as SpongeBob. That has voice actors in it now and stuff. Like, this game is. They're doing work, and I'm surprised because it's a game mill game.
Yeah, they flipped it.
Yeah, it's really cool what they did. Yeah.
I mean, because there's no reason why it shouldn't be good. It has all the power behind it. You know, I mean, it's a Nickelodeon game.
Right, but it's not. It goes back to licensing and stuff like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
A Disney game is different than a Nickelodeon game because Nickelodeon, you're just paying for SpongeBob, while Disney, you're paying for Disney to be Disney. There's a lot more of a protection behind Disney stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the adaptations of, you know, video games as well. Like, we've seen so many shitty, you know, adaptations of whatever movie.
Yeah.
And it makes such a difference when Miyamoto is hands-on the whole time for Super Mario Bros. Movie. Or what we just talked about, the Legend of Zelda movie last week.
he'll be hands-on with that, producing it. It makes a difference, I guess.
Yeah.
For sure. That's all I got for Game Awards and stuff. Game Awards is December 7th, so you and I can talk about if you want to do a reaction video with me.
Nice.
I do it every year. It's a long one, for sure.
I have a show that night.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll be longer than your show. So, yeah, probably not.
I mean, you can react to it, and I'll just...
Yeah, I'll do it regardless.
You can react to it, and then I'll make a reaction to your reaction.
Okay. That's a lot to commit to, man.
We'll get really in depth.
Yeah, you can do that. I'll post it on the channel too.
And then we can make a reaction to my reaction.
I don't remember how long last year's Video Game Awards were. I want to say it was like 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
I want to say.
And then Kyle can react to our reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
As his debut on the channel, he can.
Yeah, those are long ones for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just reading all of them took probably over an hour just to read it. I can't imagine with scenes for all of them and the drum roll between announcing.
Right, and they do. I mean,
you have to go up and accept the reward and.
Well, I mean, so like
tell a
lot of those awards aren't people coming on stage. A lot of them are like on the sidelines and stuff like that. I feel like there's less awards this year than there were last year. Maybe I'm losing it, but I feel like that's the case. But the big appeal of the Video Game Awards is that it's almost like second E3.
Yeah.
It's the world premieres. It's who's showing off, you know. Like, we got the Elden Ring reveal there. Not the initial reveal, but the gameplay reveal was there. Persona coming to Smash Brothers. The reveal of the Xbox Series X was there. Like, Video Game Awards has usually a bomb or two. Last year, it felt like it was lacking. But we'll see. We'll see with this year. I think Jeff Keighley doing 3 separate shows a year now is starting to stretch thin a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
But we'll see. The Video Game Awards are usually a decent time. Yeah. It'll be a long one though. It'll be a long one. That's usually like an all-night effort for me to get get done with. It's like I gotta record it and then edit it, and then by the time I'm done editing and stuff, it's like a 6-hour render, and then I just go to bed and wake up early so I can get it out.
Just to put it out.
Yeah. That's all we got for this week. We didn't play much games this week, but we'll be talking about games that we played next week because it will be in between the Game Awards and stuff. It's Thanksgiving next week as well, so I don't know what that means for us, but
that's true.
That Thanksgiving is the day that we record this.
The holidays are upon us again.
I don't think that will interfere with our schedule, but
yeah, I don't have family.
Yeah, I don't have family here. We plan on having something at the house, but yeah.
I don't know what I'm planning. I don't remember the holidays. You know, they kind of just appear, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving now.
Kyle and I.
That means I get paid more.
Yeah, Kyle and I were talking about smoking a ham and a bird.
Oh, full of weed.
Sure.
Like a bong. You're just gonna smoke out of the ham butt hole.
Yeah. I like chicken joints.
Yeah. Chicken joints.
Chicken joints. I was actually... Chicken fries look like chicken joints. I was craving chicken fries last night. Burger King has ghost pepper chicken fries.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like my shit.
That sounds pretty good.
And they have a ghost pepper Whopper as well. And I was like, oh, I want to put the ghost pepper fries in the Whopper.
That's probably good, yeah.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
I wish they bring the Angry Whopper back.
Was that the one that was solid black? Or was that... No, that was the Goth
That was
Whopper.
their Halloween
Yeah.
Goth. No, the Angry Whopper was just... They just swapped all their ingredients for spicy ingredients. So the cheese was pepper jack. Their pickles were jalapenos. Their sauce was the spicy sauce. I think the patty was the same. But, like, everything else was just a spicy version. And it was the Angry Whopper. And it was like... and then they put the little curly... thin onions on there too, which is nice. Yeah, so I was like, every time they came out, I get so many of those. So I feel like this is kind of like a slightly less version of that, but probably still pretty good. It could be more. I haven't tried it yet, but definitely could be more. We're gonna start a food review podcast. Stay tuned.
Well, so I am on TikTok now.
Nice! I can start sending you TikToks. I keep seeing TikToks that I'm like, Ben's gonna love this.
Yes, I am.
But I don't send them to you because I'm like, I don't want to harass you.
No,
but now that I know, I'm about to blow your TikTok up.
Follow me on TikTok. Do all that stuff. I do want to start doing Pokemon openings again. And I think that's where they will be moving to. It's on TikTok.
I think that'd be a good idea. I see a lot on there.
Yeah, and they don't do that well on YouTube anymore. Like,
yeah.
I went from getting like 200 views per Pokemon video to like 2 views per Pokemon video. Yeah. And I think it's because, I mean, the algorithm used to favor 10-minute videos, and now it favors 1-hour videos. So
yeah, YouTube's become like super long form, especially compared to TikTok. Like,
yeah,
and even TikTok, they increased the videos up to 5 minutes. So it's like
15 minutes.
Oh, did it go all the way up to 15?
15 minutes.
I don't think I've seen a 15-minute video yet. That might be out of my options, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's too long. But still, that's a half a TV show.
Right. Oh, dog's barking. Dog's barking, so I'm going to end it here.
We did it.
It's been fun, guys. It's been real. Like, comment, subscribe. Go donate to the Cash App down below to help out the channel. And go buy Pokemon cards and use that code down below. It's been fun, guys. It's been real. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Bye!